One of the reasons that we stay in these cycles is because if you grew up with dysfunction, you learn to override your intuition because you couldn't get in a car and drive away. You couldn't go report it to somebody that would help and make it stop. You just had to kind of deal with it. That's the plight of being a child. It's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about defining our adulthood as needing to be different than that childhood state of, I'm just stuck and powerless. That is true when we are children. It cannot be true in adulthood. And anyone who is still in that belief is in their adult inviting, nurturing a victim mentality that just keeps them stuck and keeps them in the very energies they grew up with, which is tragic. It's awful. It's awful. Okay. So when we are kids and we can't enact change, we don't have the autonomy, we don't have the power, we don't have the agency yet. We have to override our intuition. And when we do that, we leave our intuitive gut and we come up to our head and we overthink and we overthink and we overthink and we overthink. Many of us, if we grew up with narcissistic parenting, the other thing that we learned is it's never the narcissist's fault and the narcissist blames. So we learn to go to this place of, what did I do wrong? It must be my fault. Everything is so fucked up. This is so messed up. I have to take responsibility, right? I'm supposed to take responsibility. I screamed back when he screamed at me. So I have to take responsibility. So we basically take over responsibility as codependents. We don't know how to let someone else, I don't need these, hold on. We don't know how to let somebody else be responsible for themselves. We truly don't know what that is. If we grew up with a narcissistic parent, that tends to be a very strong dynamic. I can tell you that I had to sit with myself and really process the insanity earlier in my healing of realizing, holy shit, I had never, ever, I had three parents at the end of the day, my biological father, my adoptive father, and my mother. Not a one knew how to apologize for anything ever. I mean, not knowing if they knocked over, my drink, stepped on my toe, something not in the abusive realm, just kind of basic human stuff of us bumping into each other. There is the ego problem in the parents I come from. No even ownership there. If they would have stepped on my foot, it's, get out of the way. Don't you see me coming? Move. That was one from my mom. Oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. That just came out of me. See how that subconscious works? If she stepped on me, it wasn't, I'm sorry, I stepped on you, baby. It wasn't that. It was, move, get out of the way. So think about what that teaches, that very small, simple example. That taught me that even if somebody's stepping on my foot, it's my fault. Talk about a prepping to energetically find someone that would then do that to me later. So sitting with ourselves and really realizing, what dynamics do I come from? What did those dynamics teach me? And this is all part of why we go back through our history in traditional counseling and therapy. It's not how some coaches who feel insecure about the educations therapists have. I've heard some coaches say, we don't get you all lost in your history like a therapist does. And certainly therapists that I don't believe are very skilled at this craft will just get lost in somebody's history with them. That happens too. But we look at our history to really understand, what was I taught? And really, it's oh shit, what was I taught? Okay, now that being said, what do I need to teach myself now? So you can hear in my example, I had to teach myself, it's not always my fault. That I can take responsibility when it is and start sussing out that difference. It's very easy in a dysfunctional dynamic to get used to just going, okay, fine, it's my fault. I'm so sorry, to try to move the needle past the conflict and just over-own.